Joining us now is Okpe with stories trending around the world. Hello, Genex.
Good morning, Dr. Bati. How are you?
The lady in blue. I know this color.
It's a morning show.
Don't think I will get it wrong.
Good morning to Queen Victoria.
Good morning, darling. How are you?
Good, thank you. Good morning, Rafai. How are you?
Good morning. How are you?
Great,
Good.
great. Well, good morning to you, viewers. Here are some of the stories that are trending across the globe.
In the United Kingdom, Queen Elizabeth II awarded the country's highest civilian honor for gallantry to the National Health Service by offering a handwritten message of thanks to the public organization and its workers on its 73rd anniversary. In the United States, following the demolition of the Champlain Towers South Building in Florida, officials hope it will now be safer to expand their search with fewer reinforcements. According to reports, 24 persons have so far been confirmed dead, while 124 others remain unaccounted for. And the United States Center for Disease Control and Prevention is investigating the death of a 13-year-old boy, Jacob Slinik, who died on June 15th, just 3 days after he received his second dose of the Pfizer coronavirus vaccine. In Italy, the Vatican announced on Monday that Pope Francis is in good general condition after undergoing a 3-hour operation which involved removing half of his colon. It is the first time the 84-year-old had been admitted to hospital since his election in 2013. In South Africa, reactions continue to trail Jacob Zuma's 15-month jail sentencing. On Sunday, the former president lashed out at the judges who sentenced him for absconding from a corruption inquiry, comparing them to the white minority apartheid rulers he once fought.
Sending me to jail during the height of a pandemic at my age is the same as sentencing me to death.
In Nigeria, questions arise over the health status of the Minister of State for Industry, Trade and Investment, Mariam Katagum, after she slummed while delivering a speech at an official engagement in Bauchi State. Under sports, the story of a 24-year-old Nigerian footballer, Odichukuma Kelvin Iguane, who was shot dead by Thames Valley Police on June 26th after he murdered his neighbor who tried to rescue a toddler held captive at his home, has made the rounds. The toddler is reported to still be in critical condition at the hospital. Finally, under entertainment, Essence by Nigeria's superstar Wizkid, featuring Thames, has become the first African song to make top 30 on Apple Music's chart. The song, which is off of Wizkid's Made in Lagos album, recently made waves on social media as the official summer jam.
Well, let's begin what's trending in Nigeria. Reports reaching us indicate that Ibrahim Magu, the former acting chairman of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, is being considered for promotion to the rank of Assistant Inspector General by the Police Service Commission. In July 2020, Magu was arrested, detained and suspended as the acting chairman of the Anti-Graft Agency after the Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice Abubakar Malami petitioned the president levying allegations of corruption and insubordination against him. Magu was then recommended for removal as the EFCC boss by the Justice Ayo Salami panel, which also asked that he be prosecuted over allegations of abuse of office. The presidency is said to be worried about the defiance of the Police Service Commission in recommending Magu for promotion, which they say may create the impression that Magu is being rewarded despite the damning report by a presidential panel on him. Tundu, it appears that the presidency may be distancing themselves away from this alleged recommendation for promotion. But, does it mean that if they had to recommend it to the president, he may, deny it? I don't know if it has anything to do with the president's approval at the point.
It has nothing to do with it. It's the Police Service Commission. And these things do happen. I'm not sure if you recall the case of the Apple 6.
The deputy commissioner of police at the time that was implicated, he was arrested, he was tried. He was then acquitted. But obviously that is such a terrible smear against his name. But, so the general public just assumed that that would be the end of that for his police career, even though the court did not find him guilty. The Police Service Commission saw fit to promote him. The Inspector General of Police then decorated him further to that. And a lot of people were horrified, especially the victims of the families who felt that he got away with murder, literally then was rewarded for it. But that's their perception. So this is why with this Magu case, I'm not really surprised. The Police Service Commission will do as they please with the recruitment and promotion of police. You recall recently the Police Service Commission and the Nigerian Police Force went to court over who is actually statutorily empowered to recruit and promote police. It is actually the Police Service Commission. So this has nothing to do with the presidency. For all you know, they might be reading these reports and are just shocked. But what is strange to me is the Justice Ayo Salami panel submitted their report in late 2020, November 2020.
November 2020, correct.
And nothing was done since. We have a new EFCC chairman, Elliot Ness, as I like to think of him. He's a young man. Really? That's how I think of him, yeah. Because he's young and he's cool, you know? Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, he's cool.
He's cool because he's young.
He's young.
I like to see young people. You know, I love
when you
the
say
movie.
he's cool, that may be misinterpreted.
Only by you, Dr. Patti, I assure you.
I know.
I assure you. You know, I always think of the movie. So my mind goes to The Untouchables. You know the movie?
Yeah.
So Elliot Ness now. We now have Elliot Ness there. And that's all we heard about it.
Yeah.
If the Justice Ayo Salami panel really found Ibrahim Magu complicit in corruption to the tune of 431 million naira, should there not be a trial?
By now. That's
rather
the
than this news that we're hearing.
Absolutely. Rufai, your analysis on this really quickly.
I mean, seeing this is quite shocking for me too, when you look at it critically. We had the Ayo Salami panel. The Attorney General of the Federation was on Arise TV. We asked him about that panel. He said he was even going to testify if he was called on in that panel. I'm sure he was called, but he didn't testify. And we had that panel. They had findings. Till date, we have not seen the result of that finding. He was told to step aside while the investigation continued. After the end of the investigation, another person was put in there as the EFCC chief. We've seen nothing. So for me, the fact that everything is done in a lot of secrecy, how very nebulous things have become in this country is the shocking part for me. And they feel we citizens don't have a right to know. And now, if this is true, since it's just, something coming out, there's suggestions as regards it. If this is true, that is going to be promoted, the question we should further ask is there something that the Police Service Commission knows about his conduct that we don't know? And what was the result of that Ayo Salami panel?
Those are very
What were the
valid
recommendations in that panel as
Very
regards,
valid question.
was Magu found guilty or not in that panel? We all have a right to know in this country. Or was it a witch hunt, like some people say in some quarters? Was it just to get him out of the way and put somebody else as EFCC chief? Some things we'll never get to know in this country.
All right, then. We'll take another story in Kaduna State, where parents, families, and community members trooped out in their numbers to register their frustration with the state government after armed bandits in large numbers kidnapped an unspecified number of boarding school children from the Bethel High School. According to reports, the gunmen broke into the secondary school, housing 180 students, and overpowered the school security guards. Well, let's take a quick listen to some of the parents of the kidnapped students before we come back for a discussion.
They are taken, and we can't say anything. What is the government saying about this thing? Is now Nigeria not safe for anybody to go to school again? Can't we go to school? Can't we go to work? Kaduna State that crime cannot stand for 24 hours before. Now what is happening?
They have kidnapped 3 of my children. The time these soldiers and police came here, we were supposed to go after them to save the life of our children. Nobody go there. They are here only to look at people who are blocking, standing on the road. Is anybody holding any weapon?
Horrific. In another development, bandits on Sunday morning attacked the staff quarters of the National Tuberculosis and Leprosy Training Center in Zaria, Kaduna State, and abducted at least 8 people. 2 nurses and a 12-month-old child were also among those seized, according to hospital workers. Dr. Abati, how horrific is this?
Yes, it is horrific, it is sad, it is disturbing, and it is frightening. Earlier this morning, we engaged Nisi Gabriel, the Arise News correspondent who is on the ground in Kaduna. And, he showed that same video that you showed, and he gave us a picture of the crisis that Kaduna State is facing at the moment. And he made a point that the atmosphere in Kaduna State is very tense. The parents themselves say that, they are really worried about what is going on. I said earlier that there have been about 7 cases, well, maybe 6 cases of abduction in Kaduna State since March. That's between March and now. You've had many cases of abductions involving, a government science secondary school, and, other educational institutions in that particular state, including a university, including a college of forestation, agri-forestry. And now you have this case of Bethel Baptist Secondary School. The question to raise is, would there ever be any end to it? Someone that we're all familiar with has said, look, banditry, kidnapping has become big business. This is a clear indication of the fact that it is indeed business. It's become a source of livelihood. And in a country where majority of the people are unemployed, it is not far to seek why this is the case. You don't need to look further afield to see that, this has become almost a self-fulfilling prophecy. The question then is, when will it end? How will it end? And, what must the state do to put an end to it? In this particular school, the fence was broken as an entry point and also as an exit point. So the schools are not safe, although government talks about Safe Schools initiative. Now, the situation in Kaduna State is even so bad to the extent that even the governor himself has had to withdraw 2 of his children from Kaduna Capital School. And he has provided a justification for it, that his children are not safe there because the intelligence report that has been provided by the security agencies indicate that there have been attempts to abduct his children and that 2 previous attempts have been made that have been foiled. So the children of the governor, they are not safe in public school. The children of ordinary people, they are not safe. Even the same governor who says he's not going to negotiate with bandits or pay ransom, he too is not safe because, his withdrawal of his children is an expression of fear. He may say that self-preservation is the first law, and in these matters, he too will be under pressure, serious pressure at home. Which wife will allow you, because of your own politics, to go and expose her children, to say because you are a political leader, you want to prove a point? So this is where the matter is. At the end of the day, it's getting to everybody. But we just hope that beyond expressing concern and regrets, which is what the Kaduna State government has done, that every effort will be made in this particular case to rescue not just the over 100 students of Bethel Baptist School, and also those health workers in Zaria. Within 24 hours, 2 theaters of attack and operation in one state. That in itself is enough to give the governor sleepless nights and to keep the security agencies on their toes. But again, for the international community, it's bad news.
Yes.
Kaduna, that used to be, a melting pot for culture, for commerce, has suddenly become a place now where you have to be constantly looking behind your back. Whatever is the issue, either political or cultural or, approach, strategy, method, tactics, should be further interrogated so that the people of Kaduna State can go to bed at night, they can send their children to school, they can go to market and feel secure.
Very well said, Dr. Abati. At this point, almost over 200 children are still out there. Some as young as 3. And then the baby.
A baby in the woods without a mosquito net. A baby been bitten by mosquitoes.
This is horrible. Horrible. I hope that
stuff of nightmares.
Done immediately. Rufai, a quick analysis on this before we move to our final story.
That's why we should never justify banditry with anything, for any reason. We should never justify banditry. We should call it what it is. It is bad. It is terrible. And a little part of it, I thought some people say the reason why these bandits go out to attack students is because they don't have education. The state has failed them. If they did not have education, how could they write a letter in English language and send to that school? And they informed the school they were coming before now. So the bandits did write letters, so they can write letter. And some people in all of this conversation would justify the banditry by saying, oh, it's because they don't have education, they've been left in the bush. let us call a spade a spade. What is bad in our country, let us speak truth to power, not because of us, because of the generations yet unborn. Because the children that will come after us will ask us a question, what did we say or what did we do about a time like this in our national life? And what we said or did do will matter a great deal. Banditry is bad and we must all come together to stop it.
All right. Well said. We'll take another story. A man in a video now circulating on social media was seen lamenting over a road allegedly built with inferior materials in Edo State. In the video, the man maintained that it is better for people to do things rightly than to go on with a project with substandard quality. Let's take a quick look.
If you don't want to do, you don't do. You know that you did not do anything. See him now. See him. See him. Now be this. See, I swear to God, if anybody, make una no worry. God they see all of us for this country. Zero. Now my ordinary hand. Ordinary hand. Ordinary hand. Now I tell the open now so. Ordinary hand. Zero where they do. Zero. Zero where they do. Oh go kill that person. Now not with this one. How you go to do this thing? You not pull. You not pull road. You not pull road. You the cover up. You not pull road. You the cover up. It make any sense to human being? It better than God not go wash him. Does it make any sense? God they see all of us.
Tundun, this is what I call real citizenry reporting. I mean,
Yes.
we must commend this guy.
Honestly.
He made all of the valid points there with the rods and the roads pulling off concrete, or what do you call that? Coal tar from the road with his ordinary hands. It's just really bizarre to see that these people just go ahead and act with impunity in our country.
And I expect that the Edo State government is not going to merely watch and comment. I expect that they will investigate and they will sanction, because this is a total disgrace. He's completely right. One rainy season and that road is kaput. What's the point of that?
Unbelievable.
Well, first, I think the first point to be made is that it's important that citizens speak up,
Yes.
speak out, they call out their leaders. And in this particular case, this is a road in a place called Igara in Akoko Edo Federal Constituency of Edo State. And this gentleman, after this video was released, if he has not achieved anything, he has achieved the effect, the purpose of calling out his representative. One Honorable Akpatasin. Honorable Akpatasin is a deputy house leader in the Federal House of Representatives. And following the circulation of this video, he wrote a letter to the Federal Ministry of Agric. And he pointed out that this particular road was provided for under what you called the intervention project to be executed by the Rural Development Department of the Ministry of Agriculture. And he wanted to find out why this is the case. And he says that he himself is thoroughly embarrassed by what he has seen. And he has asked the ministry, the relevant ministry, to provide explanations why this kind of substandard construction will be carried out in his constituency and cause so much pain and havoc to one of his constituents. That's the second leg of it. The third leg of it, of course, is that this is nothing unusual. Usually in government, you have what they call a monitoring and evaluation department that goes around and does the monitoring and evaluation, or if you like, quality control, a quality assurance exercise. But here in Nigeria, in many instances, nobody carries out quality assurance. A man takes a contract, and the company that was referred to by Peter Akpatasin, Honorable Peter Akpatasin, the company is called Royal Jeff Nigeria Limited. So I think we should also name the company that was named by Honorable Peter Akpatasin. So it is the consequential step now, therefore, is for the relevant agencies of government, to follow through and find out how 200 million naira, as alleged, was paid for this kind of shoddy work. But it's standard practice, at least in this particular case. Okay, they've done shoddy work, nobody has ensured their quality control. In some cases, look, if you have ever been in government, sometimes in the books, you will see that a particular road has been furnished, has been repaired, totally rehabilitated with billions of money. But that particular road does not exist in reality. Local government chairmen, they will say they have done this and that in some neighborhoods. If you go there, those projects are non-existent.
Phantom projects.
Okay, yeah, this one exists. It's not a ghost project, but look at the quality. And the man was right. The gentleman was right. He said one heavy rainfall, everything will just be washed away. And they will have taken photographs to convince the relevant department of government that the work had been done. They will have collected mobilization. They may even have taken everything, up front. And of course, you know how it works. The people who collect 10%, the 10%ers, that revolutionaries have been complaining about since 1966. They are still fully at work. I even hear that the 10% may have increased, given the pandemic and the economic crisis and the galloping inflation, the stagflation, that the country faces.
But it's not a Nigerian phenomenon. You know, the great, Catherine the Great, the Tsarina of Russia, the Potemkin villages, her consort / whatever he was to her, Admiral Potemkin, he used to lie that he has built entire villages and there was nothing.
But that was then.
Yeah, I'm saying,
haven't we moved on?
It's an international phenomenon and it's timeless.
There's corruption
universal
everywhere.
And timeless.
You're right. Rufai, your analysis.
I mean, this is another sad part of our country. And let me piggyback on what Dr. Abati said. The 10%ers, the famous words of Kaduna State, when they had that revolution in the 60s, killing politicians. And one thing he said at the end of that statement was, I assure you that we'll have a Nigeria that you will never be ashamed of again. But it is sad that over 50 years down the line, that Kaduna State talked about the politicians, the 10%ers, and I assure you that we'll have a Nigeria we'll never be ashamed of again. Over 50 years down the line, we'll still have a Nigeria that, when you see stories like this, you get ashamed.
Well, I hope the Ministry of Agri and Rural Development will respond to Honorable Peter Patterson, and that the response will be made public.
Absolutely.
Because it's now a matter of public interest.
Absolutely. Well, that's all I have for you guys on What's Trending today. I will see you tomorrow.
Thank you very much, Ojineka. We'll see you also tomorrow.